Let me tell you something important. The biggest mistake you're making right now is worrying too much about what others think. You're spending so much time explaining yourself, defending your choices, looking for approval, and trying to prove your worth that you're draining the energy you actually need to build the life you truly want. It's time to stop. Here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for working on yourself. You don't need to announce your plans, and you definitely don't need permission to grow. All you need to do is focus, take action, and stay quiet. Telling people about your dreams and goals might seem like a good idea. After all, we've been told that speaking things into existence can be powerful. But in reality, sharing your plans too soon can be one of the worst mistakes you make. The moment you open up about your ambitions, you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions that can shake your confidence before you even get started. You expect excitement and encouragement when you share your dreams, but often that's not what you get. Instead, you might hear doubts, criticism, or even indifference. Someone might say, "Are you sure you can do that?" Or "That sounds really difficult." Even if they don't mean to harm you, their words plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And suddenly you start second-guessing yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe it is too hard. Maybe you don't have what it takes. And just like that, the fire and confidence you once had begin to fade. There's also a psychological trick happening here. Studies show that when you talk about your goals, your brain releases a small burst of dopamine, the same reward chemical that comes when you actually achieve something. This makes you feel like you've already made progress, even when you haven't taken a single step. The problem? That false sense of accomplishment can make you less likely to take real action. Saying, "I'm going to start a business" feels good, but it tricks your mind into thinking you've already done something, which can make you delay the actual work. Another issue with seeking validation is that it shifts your motivation from within to outside approval. When you tell people about your dreams, you unconsciously start looking for their reassurance. You want to hear, "That's amazing, you're going to do great." But what happens if they don't react the way you hoped? If their response isn't as enthusiastic as you expected, it can make you doubt yourself. Your drive, which should come from within, starts depending on how others react. And that's dangerous. Motivation built on approval will crumble the moment support disappears. Not everyone deserves to hear your plans. Some people project their own fears and insecurities onto you. They don't believe in themselves, so they struggle to believe in others. When you share your dreams with the wrong people, you absorb their negativity. If they wouldn't take the risk themselves, they'll try to convince you not to take it either. Their doubts are not about your ability, they're about their own fears. But if you're not careful, their words can start shaping your beliefs. Talking about your goals might feel like progress, but the truth is, nothing changes until you take action. The energy you spend explaining your plans to others could be used to actually start working on them. Instead of talking about your ambitions, use that energy to take the first step. If you want to write a book, don't talk about it, start writing. If you want to get in shape, don't announce it, just show up at the gym. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Keeping your goals to yourself protects them. It creates a space where your vision is safe from negativity, judgment, and distractions. You allow yourself to focus fully on the work instead of worrying about how others see you. The less you talk, the more you do, and the more you do, the more progress you make. Not everyone in your life wants to see you succeed. That's a hard truth, but the sooner you accept it, the better off you'll be. When you decide to change, to grow, to chase something bigger, you assume people will support you, but that's not always the case. Some will question your choices, some will downplay your progress, and some will actively discourage you. Why? Because your growth makes them uncomfortable. When you start improving, it forces others to face the fact that they're staying the same, and that's not easy for some people. If you're making moves, it highlights the fact that they're stuck. If you're chasing your dreams, it reminds them of all the times they've given up on theirs. Instead of feeling inspired, they feel threatened. Instead of cheering for you, they criticize you. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're challenging the way they see themselves. This is why protecting your energy is crucial. Every day you make choices about where you invest your mental, emotional, and physical energy, and if you're not careful, you'll waste more time explaining yourself than actually making progress. You'll get caught up in arguments with people who don't see your vision. You'll drain yourself trying to convince someone why your dreams matter when in reality they were never meant to understand in the first place. That's energy you could have spent working on your goal, improving your skills, or simply staying focused. Some negativity won't be direct. It won't always come as harsh criticism. Sometimes it will be disguised as a joke, an eye roll, a dismissive comment. Someone might laugh when you talk about your dream. They might say, "That's cool, but do you really think you can do it?" These small, subtle moments of doubt, if repeated enough, can wear you down. Even if you were confident at first, constant exposure to skepticism can make you start questioning yourself. That's why limiting your exposure to negativity isn't just helpful, it's necessary. Another way people drain your energy is by constantly demanding explanations. You don't owe anyone an explanation for working on yourself. You don't need to justify why you're spending less time socializing and more time building. You don't have to prove to anyone that your dream is worth pursuing. Every time you explain yourself, you're giving away energy that should be used for taking action. Some people don't really want an explanation, they want to slow you down. They want to pull you into conversations that plant doubt in your mind. Pay attention to how people react when you start succeeding. Do they celebrate with you? Or do they go silent? Do they encourage you? Or do they make sarcastic, passive-aggressive comments? Their reactions tell you everything you need to know about who deserves access to your energy. At the end of the day, your energy is limited. You can either spend it trying to prove yourself to people who will never understand, or you can invest it in building the life you truly want. The more time you waste on negativity, the less time you have for progress. The more you entertain doubt, the less room you have for belief. The right people won't need explanations. They'll see your effort, they'll respect your boundaries, and most importantly, they'll celebrate your success instead of feeling threatened by it. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of mental, emotional, and physical energy. How you spend it determines the quality of your life. The problem is most people don't protect it. They waste it overthinking, explaining themselves to people who don't matter, and getting caught up in distractions that don't help them grow. Don't make that mistake. Protect your energy, stay focused, and let your success be your response. If you are truly serious about achieving your goals, you must start treating your energy like something rare and valuable, because once it's used up, you don't get it back. One of the biggest ways people lose their energy is by constantly explaining their choices. You don't need to justify why you're prioritizing yourself, why you're setting boundaries, or why you're walking a different path. The more you try to make others understand, the more drained you become. Not everyone is supposed to understand your journey, and that is completely okay. Instead of chasing approval, use that energy to take action. The ones who truly support you won't need explanations. They'll see your efforts, they'll respect your decisions without questioning them. Another way you waste energy is by engaging with negativity. Whether it's toxic conversations, unnecessary drama, or people who always doubt you, every moment spent on negativity is a moment stolen from your progress. You have to be careful about where you invest your attention. If something or someone constantly leaves you feeling exhausted rather than inspired, it's a sign you need to walk away. Protecting your energy means being intentional about where you direct your focus. Overthinking is another silent thief of energy. The more time you spend analyzing, doubting, and second-guessing yourself, the less energy you have for action. Planning is important, but nothing changes until you actually do something. Instead of obsessing over every possible outcome, take the first step. Progress comes from movement, not from endlessly thinking about what could go wrong. The more you protect your energy, the more strength you will have to build the life you dream of. When you stop explaining, stop engaging in negativity, and stop overthinking, you free up energy to focus on what truly matters. The key is to be intentional, decide where your energy goes, and make sure it's being used to push you forward, not hold you back. Most people spend more time talking about their goals than actually working on them. They get excited about their plans, they share their dreams with everyone around them, and they spend hours discussing what they're going to do. But here's the hard truth: talking about your goals doesn't bring them to life. Action does. The more time you spend explaining your ambitions, the less time you have to execute them. Success isn't built on announcements, it's built on effort. The problem with always talking about your goals is that it creates a false sense of achievement. When you say, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to get in shape," your brain gives you a small dopamine boost, making you feel like you've already accomplished something. It tricks you into thinking that just speaking your intentions is the same as making progress. But saying you'll do something and actually doing it are two completely different things. You don't need to talk about what you're going to do. You need to start doing it. A lot of people talk instead of act because they crave validation. They want reassurance that they're making the right decision. They want people to support their vision, to believe in them. But the reality is, not everyone will believe in you. Not everyone will care. Some will doubt you. Some will try to talk you out of it. And if your motivation depends on their approval, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You don't need validation to chase your dreams. You need discipline. Every time you talk about your goals instead of working on them, you push your success further away. Action is what separates dreamers from achievers. Think about the most successful people you admire. They didn't get there by announcing their plans. They got there by showing up and doing the work. They moved in silence. They let their results speak for them. That's what you need to do. It's easy to get stuck in the illusion of productivity. You feel like you're making progress just because you're researching, planning, or discussing your next move. But none of that matters if you're not taking action. Planning is necessary, but at some point you have to stop preparing and start executing. Don't get caught in the cycle of overthinking and over-explaining. Start moving forward even if the steps feel small. Silence is powerful. When you stop announcing every move, you remove unnecessary pressure and distractions. You give yourself space to fully focus on your work instead of worrying about what others think. You stop looking for approval and start trusting yourself. You stop wasting time convincing others and start proving it to yourself. Success doesn't need permission, it needs action. Another benefit of moving in silence is that it protects your momentum. When you talk too much about your goals, you expose them to doubt and negativity before they even have a chance to grow. People will project their fears onto you. They'll tell you why it won't work, why it's too risky, why you should be more realistic. And if you're not careful, you might start believing them. But when you stay quiet and focus on your work, you keep your momentum strong. You build confidence through action, not through words. Talking less and doing more also keeps you accountable. When you constantly announce your plans, it's easy to feel like you're making progress even when you're not. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you have no choice but to prove them through action. No one is watching. No one is expecting updates. It's just you and the work. That's where real growth happens. The most successful people don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect approval. They just start. They focus on execution, on consistency, on getting better every single day. And because of that, they win. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who only dream about success. The question is, which one will you be? Discipline is the foundation of success, yet most people struggle with it because they allow distractions to take control of their lives. In today's world, distractions are everywhere: social media notifications, endless scrolling, pointless conversations that add no value. The problem is, every time you let yourself get distracted, you lose focus on what truly matters. You slow down progress. You waste time. You make it harder to stay committed to your goals. If you want to achieve something meaningful, you must learn to protect your focus. The truth is, most distractions are self-inflicted. People don't just get distracted, they allow themselves to be pulled away from what they should be doing. It starts small. You tell yourself you'll check your phone for just a minute, and suddenly 30 minutes have passed. You open social media for inspiration, but instead you start comparing yourself to others, feeling discouraged, losing motivation. You sit down to work, but you get caught up responding to messages that could have waited. These little moments add up, and before you know it, your day is gone and nothing important got done. Discipline means taking control of your time and attention. It's about deciding what deserves your focus and cutting out what doesn't. The most successful people don't have more hours in the day than you. They just use their time differently. They don't waste hours on distractions. They set clear priorities. They create routines and stick to them. They don't rely on motivation because they know motivation fades. Instead, they build habits that keep them on track even when they don't feel like working. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. One of the biggest distractions today is social media. It's designed to keep you hooked, to make you scroll endlessly, to fill your mind with noise. While it can be a tool for learning and networking, for most people, it's just a distraction. The more time you spend watching other people's lives, the less time you have to build your own. If you want to be successful, you must take control of your time, your focus, and most importantly, your energy. Limit your time on social media. Unfollow accounts that don't inspire or add value to your life. Use it with purpose instead of scrolling mindlessly. Another huge distraction is chasing quick pleasure. So many people get stuck in temporary joys, watching endless shows, playing video games for hours, or browsing the internet with no goal. These things bring quick happiness, but success is not built on quick wins. Success is built on steady, daily effort. True discipline means letting go of short-term pleasure for long-term results. It means sticking to your goals even when it feels hard, even when you'd rather relax, even when no one is cheering you on. Procrastination is another major distraction. Many people keep delaying action because they're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. But perfectionism is just another excuse for not starting. The truth is, the perfect moment will never arrive, and no plan will ever be flawless. The only way forward is to start now, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable. The more you wait, the harder it gets. Discipline is about forcing yourself to move forward, even when it feels impossible. The ability to stay disciplined is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who stay stuck. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about shutting out distractions, focusing on what really matters, and showing up every single day. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones with the most talent or the best resources. They are the ones who refuse to let distractions take over. The real question is, are you willing to do what it takes? If you want to change your life, you have to stay consistent. Most people start strong. They set goals, make plans, and feel excited in the beginning. But over time, that excitement fades. Challenges appear. The journey feels slow. This is the moment where most people quit. They tell themselves it's too hard, it's taking too long, or maybe it's just not meant for them. But success isn't about being the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. It's about who stays in the game the longest. Consistency is what sets apart those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. Anyone can work hard for a day, a week, or even a month. But can you keep going when no one is watching? Can you stay disciplined even when results aren't showing up yet? Can you push forward when it feels like nothing is working? These are the real questions that define success. Most people give up just before they see results. They expect instant rewards. They don't realize that success is built on small, repeated actions over time. When you stay consistent, you build momentum. It's like pushing a heavy object. At first, it takes all your strength to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it becomes easier to keep it going. The problem is, most people never push long enough to build momentum. They start, stop, lose focus, and then wonder why nothing is changing. The secret is to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when the results are invisible. That's what leads to real transformation. The biggest mistake people make is relying on motivation. Motivation is unreliable, it comes and goes. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you'll never be consistent. The real key is discipline and habits. When something becomes a habit, you do it without debating it. You don't wake up every morning and question whether you should brush your teeth, it's automatic. That's how your goals should be. Make your actions so routine that they become a natural part of your day. Another reason people struggle with consistency is because they expect fast results. They want success overnight, and when that doesn't happen, they feel frustrated and lose hope. But progress takes time. The people who succeed are the ones who trust the process and keep going, even when there's no immediate reward. It's about improving just 1% every day. Those tiny improvements don't seem like much at first, but over time they add up. What looks insignificant today is actually building the foundation for your future success. Consistency also means being intentional with your time and energy. Many people waste their time on things that don't matter, distractions, negativity, and activities that don't bring them closer to their dreams. To stay consistent, you need to take control of where your focus goes. That means setting boundaries, creating a schedule, and removing anything that slows you down. It means choosing your future self over your current comfort. Success isn't built in a single day, but it is built daily. Every choice you make is either moving you closer to your goal or keeping you stuck where you are. The question is, which direction are you choosing?